we're live. Good morning, everybody. We're coming at you podcast style today because, well, I'm tired and Alex is away from his device with the video. It's been pretty interesting week. Alex, I saw the Gort token got dropped on the auction house. That was pretty awesome to see. You want to give us an update about that?
Yeah, hi everyone. So, not Gort actually, but GOT, so Gold Oracle token. Gort is a Gold Oracle reward token. But for Gort, there was an option sold yesterday. So, a lot of financial tooling under the test now. With Gold Oracle pool tokens. So there are like 15 or 16 Gold Oracles already in the pool, and there is a plan to have 30 Oracles there. So one token was sold, not quite yet. But yeah, we are call option, right? So if option will be exercised in 1 week, I believe. So it was European style option. Then it will be another operator, and for another token, an auction was started yesterday, and it's going quite crazy. So the price is now about 700 Erg, but still it seems economically according to the current price and profitability of the Oracle pool. So it's possible to see even a much higher price. But let's see. And also, all the Ergs from the auction will be put into the decks, so they will be used to buy Gords, right, and send Gords back to the Oracle pool. So I'm even thinking about testing buyback contract with them. So we'll start with 5 Erg got from selling the option for the Gold Oracle token. And so this way also there will be quite a test for the auction coin mechanics, right? Where some contract is selling tokens on the auction house in order to inject then liquidity raised to the DEX. To buy back tokens basically sold via auctions. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, fascinating stuff to watch. Those of you that don't know, we have the Ergo Hack 7 coming up in 10 days? Or no, not 10 days, excuse me, in 8 days. That'll be exciting to see. Cypher Finance is the theme this time. Trying to get projects and developers out there to explore path for the future of finance and the path to adoption. So I'm excited to see what comes out of the teams. Last I've seen, there's quite a few that have signed up. And ultimately, that's, I don't know, Ergo hacks tend to lay the base frameworks for a lot of future growth. So I'm really excited to see what ideas and development comes out of that. We had a nice developer update yesterday on Discord. As usually, there will be a video that's dropped usually Sunday. So I'm looking forward to putting that out for the community. What's new on your end?
All right, so all those financial games also deployed buyback contract. With fixing some things in the contract and its deployment script. Then Yeah, also, spent a lot of time with Oracle pool operators. Yeah, also, what's I'm also doing these days? Also, testing Paideia. And you, by the way?
Yeah, I was dropped my beta Paideia tokens last night. So my plan today is to plug in and play around with current setup of Paideia. I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah,
You
so
know,
there are some glitches in the UI, but overall it looks great. So I'm actually thinking to launch a couple of DAOs when it will be possible to run a custom DAO.
oh yeah, what do you have in mind?
For that fundraising done for the Kenyan cooperative. So I think to send some DAO tokens. So for one ERG donated, there will be one token sent back. Right, and then with future fundraising coming, there also will be an airdrop, not quite an airdrop, right? But yeah, tokens will be sent back as well. DAO tokens, and then there will be voting, right? So how to spend repayments, so to provide more loans, or to spend on something else, maybe at some point. There also will be, I think, quite useful to discuss, which loan requests to fulfill. Because currently, it's just about me doing decisions, often pretty randomly. To be honest, because I don't have much time to analyze all those things properly. So would be good to have more intelligence, collective intelligence here, definitely. Also, I'm thinking to propose to the guys in Dark Fund Zero, maybe to consider reorganizing it from the current form of just simple multi-sig to something more open and idea based. Yes. So Dark Fund Zero is a small fund which is providing sometimes grants for privacy related things on Ergo.
Yeah, absolutely. We get into this idea of better tooling for joint fundraising and fund management, which actually is pretty huge for something like that Kenyan collective. I could see, let's just say off the top of my head, something like artists on Ergo saying, "Hey, we're going to give a portion of our rewards to the DAO and use that for kind of the media exposure or attraction." There's a lot of unique ways that fund management kind of needs to mature in the crypto space. So I'm pretty excited with what Louis Batra and the Paideia team are putting together there. So I'm looking forward to playing with it today.
All right. So also doing developments for the Node 5.0.15 finalized. At this point, I hope so. It's going to be a pretty big release, and testing is going on. So probably will be released in like 10 days.
Do you want to take us through the update for this node version?
Sorry?
Will you take us through the update? What's being tested for the new node release?
Oh, so it contains multiple new API methods the ecosystem developers asked for. Also, Yeah, well, a lot of improvements, optimizations, and so on. New Sigma interpreter version, for example. Yes, some more optimizations and fixes. So, yeah, it's about like 10 pull requests, to 8 to 10. So, yeah, a pretty big number, and a lot of code being touched. So, there is need to test it for like 1 week or 10 days more. Then, yeah, it will be released, and there is some material for the next version even already. And well, yeah, development is going on, and in regards with well, big blocks and improved propagation, so I have some development roadmap plan, and think to share it with the developers community in coming days, and also to discuss incentivization parts, probably the hardest part here, right? Because, well, we are not going to have additional air commission for sure, well, any crazy things like that. So then we need to consider what to do, right?
Yeah,
Without touching the current emission. But happily, there are a lot of options. So while for some unclear reason, Ergo is often criticized for having emission done in form of contracts. Well, because of that, actually, there are a lot of emission contract modifications already known, right? Starting with get block experiments, and so some gourds will be locked into an emission contract, by the way, and there will be another DAO, so probably also idea based for what I'm calling gold cooperative, but still there is a need to formalize the structure a bit here. Right, so it's about, well, Oracle pool operators, well, Dexy team and Gleon team, right? So basically 3 products which are close enough, right, to have the same gourd token, right? Distributed somehow, and well, there will be needs for it also, I believe, and there will be also emission contract for the gourd, right? So instead of vesting, it will be just well, per block release. So, well, emission contracts are pretty much like one used for the native token for the Ergo cryptocurrency.
I've always thought that criticism that Ergo runs into for emission contracts is a little funny.
Yeah, so yeah, well, at the same time, you know, well, there is still probably active motto in the space about code as law, right, and so on, but for some reason, well, when you make a code in form of smart contracts, well, it's not the same kind of law, right? Probably after all those Ethereum endeavors, right? Let's say.
Yeah,
in the space.
That's true. I guess we have to ask the question: do people come in with the assumption that, you know, everything is like EVM? Perhaps, you know, maybe that's the core hang up there. But
Yeah, so criticism usually is totally baseless. Well, if emission done in form of smart contract, then developers can easily change. It's quite opposite, right? So, well, as I described a few times to the moment already. During AMAs as well. So, well, it's actually simpler to modify emission when it's done in just the node being hard-coded than to change how contracts are executed, right? Because we cannot undeploy contracts, right? So it's deployed, it's there forever. It holds ergs, right? So, well, the only thing you can do is if you wanted to increase total emission, for example. What you can do also is to change, well, execution rules, but that's totally painful change in the protocol in comparison with just changing hard-coded emission.
So any idea when we'll see, let's say, the proposed roadmap for the weak blocks?
Yeah, so it's more or less straightforward, right? So it's about, well, getting basic structures and algorithms done, along with peer-to-peer network messages, which is done already. Then, peer-to-peer protocol, right, with propagation. Now based on big block signals. Then, some APY needed, right, to get weak confirmation status. And then incentivization, right, the hard part.
Yeah, that's always the bigger challenge, I think, in let's say, crypto space is creating the right incentives and environments for long-term stability and growth.
Yeah. All right. So, that's what was new on my end. So, let me check. So, yeah, there is a roadmap I can publish soon. But yeah, basically it's about doing basic structures and network messages, which is well, more or less done. Well, changing synchronization logic, peer-to-peer synchronization algorithms, updating them. So then going from downloading full blocks, right, for new blocks to well, gradually downloading weak blocks and corresponding transactions, right? So to be synced now. Well, with big blocks coming. Avoid downloading full blocks, which would be good for increasing, well, effective TPS, by the way. Then, supporting weak blocks in mining API and also providing some confirmations API. This is pretty straightforward. And then incentivization. So would be good also maybe to do some research around side chains and how they can be profiting from big blocks.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to get into the questions?
Oh, yeah. Let's do for them.
All right. So Sergey asks, how many gold Oracle tokens would be enough? And will they be sold by auction every week or every month?
Yeah, let's see. So there will be 30 Oracle operators at all, right? So 35 tokens were issued initially
Mhm.
to have some reserve for possible mistakes, like accidental burns or locking tokens in unspendable contracts or something like that. Yeah, so well, after bootstrapping, 5 tokens will be burned. And then, yeah, so currently we have 16 tokens distributed, right, for free, and also one sold among them. And yeah, first token reached auction house, and there will be more auctions for sure. Not sure if all the tokens will be sold, all the rest tokens, but it's also possible. Let's see.
It's interesting to look at the fungibility of those and how that could affect the framework. That's awesome. Next question is from Louis Vatra. Alex, do you understand the dangers of saying airdrops? Sometimes that summons a horde.
Oh, I see. But also airdrop is about sending something unconditionally, right? So it's not that strict term. I don't know actually. But yeah, well, we actually had some pretty tough moments with airdrops, especially when it was campaign with some exchange coin something. I've forgotten actually.
Yeah, sometimes those the airdrop crowd can be a bit aggressive in this.
Yeah, so all the groups, the main one especially, so they were attacked by crowds of very aggressive, actually, people. And for a few days, well, Telegram groups were dysfunctional because of those aggressive crowds.
That happens. I hear it's been keeping Gaza up at night these days. Hopefully that's getting sorted.
Yeah, but sending tokens back for donations, I don't know how that could be called.
No, I think it was more of a joke on his part.
It's more like actually token sale, right? But I don't know. So when it was fundraising, there was no any promise, right, about sending anything. Because well, it was before by their announcements and beta testing, so it was not quite clear well whether it will be any kind of governance with corresponding token at all. But now it's more or less clear. So well, then it's probably about well, unconditional donation, right? And some tokens sent back after as kind of invitation to governance process. I don't know. Well, how could that be called? Actually, do you have an idea?
That's more of a fundraising opportunity for like DAO participation than the straight airdrop. All right, next it looks like we have a question from Filippo. He's saying, I know I already asked this question yesterday, but I didn't get the answer I wanted. Yeah, so he's asking again.
All right.
Kushti, can you please tell us what you think about the leader of the Oracle getting 10x the token rewards?
Oh, all right. So, yeah, that was briefly explained the previous MA. Right. So that decision choice was made by Amitabh actually, Scala Hub. So I don't have a strong opinion on that to start with. But yeah, what we are talking about is that the current Oracle Pool 2.0 implementation. So rewards are different, and a leader which is posting data collecting transaction on the blockchain once per epoch is getting the same number of tokens as other oracles combined, right? So, for example, if there are 16 oracles posting now, so one guy is getting 15 tokens, and other oracles are getting one token each. Right, and that is creating incentive to do a race. Right, race for getting on the chain. So all the oracles are posting data collecting transactions, but only one is finishing on the chain. And so to get your transaction included into a block, the most straightforward way is to raise the fee, right? And then there will be some equilibrium, right? When basically leader surplus is close to mining fee being paid to miners in ERGs, right? And leader surplus is in core tokens. So it's quite complicated equilibrium after all. But there could be other options. So, currently there is some agreement for the oracles in the current pool to have the same mining fee and to compete in different ways, because you can try to deliver your transaction quicker to miners in other ways. For example, increasing the number of connections, reducing delays, right, in software, in the Oracle pool software, for example, and so on. So for now, the competition is purely technical, but for some time there also was mining fee race among Oracle pool operators, which is quite funny.
Yeah, I can definitely see how in the wild having incentive for race conditions makes sense. Looks like Pulsars has built a shame bot for people who changed their Oracle transaction fee.
So probably the question is why exactly this formula, right? So why not just to have a reward of maybe just 2x, right? So just to reward a leader with 2 tokens. It's not quite clear To me, even I need to ask Amitabh, but I imagine that in many situations, or in some situations, let's say at least, it could be a more reasonable choice. So probably, Amitabh had in mind some scenario where it's better to have this sharp asymmetry in rewards, right? So actually I need to ask him about that, but yeah, in some situations it makes sense.
Yeah, I guess.
And
Yeah.
not sure if there is any static choice which is always the best. Probably not.
Yeah, probably.
Usually for some problems there is no a single static solution for all the scenarios from game theory.
Yeah, I could see some where there's, congestion. And so then that level of reward asymmetry makes sense.
Yeah, so in case of congestion, there is at least some incentive to raise the fee, right?
Mm-hmm.
And actually, there were some congestions before affecting Oracle pool version 1 based pools. Let's see how it goes with version 2 and its rewarding mechanism with sharp asymmetry.
Yeah, I think given that environment, it might make sense. Let's see. We've got a question. Joe, how was NFT Las Vegas? It was nice. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, actually, that's my question also. So to tell us about the event.
Sure. So it's an NFT conference, which, I'm a little bit out of my depth in the Cardano ecosystem in terms of knowing what's happening. But, one interesting thing that I found is that a lot of the people that I'm familiar with in the Cardano ecosystem as well were pretty much out of the depth in terms of what was happening, which is really cool to see. Long term, I hope we get to see that in the Ergo community, where everybody just gets kind of more and more lost because the community is quite large. I really enjoyed seeing Luca, MG Pi, Mike, QX. There was a lot of community development. We kind of had this joint booth that was pretty neat to see. QX was syncing wallets with people. He was showing off the Light Client node. And we had a little deal where, people would spin a prize wheel and be dropped an NFT or a token. And we had quite a few people that were syncing wallets and getting exposure to the Ergo ecosystem. Sometimes I like to make the joke there that Cardano's an NFT on Ergo. Sometimes that people think it's funny, other times they're offended, but such is life. I was excited to see, the community getting out and talking with people. I think that ultimately that type of approach where there's some potential collaborations just ideas discussed with people in a different ecosystem with competing products really is quite fascinating for me to see. Somebody says, I heard the Ergo platform Twitter was giving away on the prize wheel. Yeah, we did put it on there for fun. Actually 2 people hit it. I think the second time it was a kid. I was like 6 or 7. So it's kind of funny to think little kids going to take over the Twitter. But in all seriousness, that's something that I would, maybe we should put that on Paideia, right? Let the community decide what to do with it. I know that the Twitter itself is not exactly on chain, so there's a certain amount of trust in terms of enforcing community changes, but why not? I think that type of engagement would be good. I had a good time. I like that type of event. I think that relative to most crypto events, that's a better one. Sometimes the barrier of entry is such that you just I don't know, you don't really inject any new energy into the crypto ecosystem. And it's too expensive for like the common user to show up and meet people and talk. That's a lower cost event, and it shows up in terms of like the audience and the general public. Sometimes, I don't know, crypto events are not always so human, if you know what I mean. Um, so I had a good time. I always enjoy dealing with the general public, talking with them. I did give a talk on the main stage about hackathons. I think that's live on YouTube somewhere, for those of you that are interested. So yeah, great to see. I hope that in the future we can actually put together some Ergo-based events. I know that that would kind of be interesting to see how the community would get out and come together for that type of thing.
All right, so it seems there will be some events in Dubai. So currently I'm looking for venues. And then around Cardano Summit, we can do an Ergo meetup. So there will be a lot of Ergonauts in the town. And it seems there will be even 3 Ergo Foundation members, and also Dan, NEF advisor. So we can do maybe some panel about Ergo Foundation, its present time and future.
Yeah, I think that would.
And yeah, so we can also have some meetup with 2 or 3 talks. So would be nice, I guess.
No, I would say that on my side, at least from the NFT Las Vegas thing, I was just looking at how communities grow. Right, I was offline for a couple of days because I was traveling, and it seems like anymore, when I unplug for a couple of days and come back, I have more lost, which is awesome. I do hope that in the future, the Ergo community grows to the point where continually lost and just discovering new things, new projects, new ideas. So, Alex, next question we've got here is, what are your thoughts on preventing mass spam of UTXOs for an address? I guess one of our developers, Flying Pig, developed an airdrop tool and tested it on himself and then created it's like 20,000 boxes and had to go through the cleanup process. And there's, I guess, a certain worry or concern. What do you think is the best way to regulate that for like the general user?
Oh, so we solved this issue with some exchanges before, right? So the node has a filter actually, so it was discussed during yesterday's developers chat. So you can set some threshold and transactions incoming UTXOs below this threshold will be just ignored by the wallet. Also, for some exchanges as well, at some point there was support made for tokens whitelists in the wallet. So if you don't wanna receive some token spam, right? So you can just set a whitelist, and then the node's wallet will burn other tokens on doing payments. Right, so tokens not in the whitelist will be burned automatically.
I do remember the joy of the exchange wallets being spammed.
Yeah. So exactly because of that, that feature was implemented. because at some point, some exchanges had like 500 of different tokens, something like that. Some insane number. There is some protection in the Node wallet then, which is switched off by default, because, well, it's hard to say in the general case what could spamming issues be about. Right, so, well, for exchanges, there were certain settings provided, but they are working probably only for them, right? And for other actors, there would be other settings and other solutions working. And we are talking here about the Node wallet, right? So there are many wallets around, and I'm not sure what they're doing actually. So they should merge the dust, at least when doing payments, right? But yeah, I'm not quite sure how is it done in different wallets.
All right. Looks like the next question. Given the theme of this coming Ergo hack, what does adoption mean to you, and how can we achieve this in the short and long term?
All right, Joe. Maybe you are starting this time.
Sure, I'd be happy to. I think that in the short term, one of the best things that we can do to push for adoption from the general user is to simplify the UX of many crypto applications and wallets, right? I do think that that barrier of entry is something that Ergo has a lot to offer in terms of offering, let's say, clear assumptions in light environments, right? So this idea of the NePal node that's on mobile or light devices is certainly a big step forward in terms of offering people kind of a first-class user security experience, right? A lot of the times, new users are just using other people's servers. And so there's some security questions there, some scraping and tracking that could be occurring. I do think that in the short term, probably the lowest hanging fruit is this idea of stablecoin usage, right? I do know that, right now, just due to macroeconomic pressure, there's a lot of currencies out there that experiencing their own inflationary pressures. And as such, people are trying to find means to kind of avoid a loss of savings, right? A loss of the purchasing power of their money. And so offering alternatives certainly does require a certain push for adoption and integration on kind of a P2P and web level, right? Where people can plug in their existing businesses, their existing kind of financial tooling into the crypto space, and making that as easy as possible, as well as giving people a broader user experience. Long term, I would hope that the crypto space provides basically counter systems to what I guess we could call this idea of surveillance capitalism, which is something that has kind of been a creeping force in our world. And I would expect in the next, decade or two will only expand in terms of power and influence. So having some outlet where people can transact in kind of their own counter economies would be huge for, I would say, the broader public. Now, how many people know that, are aware of that, and generally care? It's hard to say. A lot of people are just focused on keeping their lights on and bellies full in their house. But I do think that that's a broader conversation to have sometimes adoption requires education as well as the tooling to deliver good user experience. What's your take, Alex?
I think cryptocurrencies and Ergo. Let's talk about it. They need to provide things useful for the real world, right? And it does not necessarily mean that things do need to be connected, right, strictly to the real world. So Bitcoin was very useful, actually, for the real world as kind of money. For the first time for a few millennials, maybe appeared and working without violence, right? So, usually money is always about violence, some violent protocol. Even historically, starting from the very early forms of money. Bitcoin was revolutionary and also as a kind of commodity, kind of digital gold, which is backed by energy. Right, also having very interesting dynamics in its appreciation because of also kind of mimetic aspects, right, in it, especially with adoption. Reaching masses. Ergo is going further, right? So even in monetary aspects, there is a demurrage component here to make it more realistic, kind of digital gold, because, in case of gold or any other commodity, so you have some storage costs. Right, so you have demurrage in some form when you do hold commodity. Then the idea was also to have money which are programmable. So people are often asking about whether tokens. What are token contracts, right? They're talking about smart contracts, but actually, the initial idea was to have tokens, including native cryptocurrencies, so Ergo, along with contracts, forming monetary contours, right? So within Ergo economy, forming additional subcontours. Also the very basic money contour, right, defined just by public keys. Right, so it's just payment system, but you always can go up from that by locking ergs or tokens in contracts more complex than public keys, right? And public keys also contracts. So everything is a contract here, and contracts are used basically to provides routing and other functionalities for monetary units. Right, so it's a totally different philosophy from the decentralized computer. Right, so well, in the first place, it's about money, and well, it's maybe the second community after Bitcoin talking about money, right? Monetary aspects, because well, most of communities these days talking about some strange things like well, achieving TPS like Visa, but well, what this TPS would be about is not quite clear. Probably some wash trading, bloated volume.
Yeah, a lot of the time we just have discussions in crypto about, making fiat rather than creating an alternative.
Right. And so then with programmable money, you can do basically well, financial systems, right? So, well, self-sovereign banks, basically, you can be one of, or even trustlessly delegate some something to a decentralized bank, right? Trustless bank, like what's possible with retrading, for example, which is also, well, a very big deal per se. Right, to have, well, this set of monetary protocols and self-sovereign banks working without, well, any violence again. But then to get closer to the real world, a lot of concrete financial tools already on the Ergo blockchain will be there, such as stable coins to reduce volatility, right? So to make realization of payment systems realistic. In many cases, right, volatility is killing it, and so on. And well, yeah, simpler UX is actually, well, what makes it accessible to the masses. As well, the example with well, magic crypto dollars wallets, right? I've provided a few times when you can use some major crypto dollars in your wallet without knowing anything about the Ergo blockchain, right? Without realizing that you are using CQSD and paying fees using Babel fees contract and so on.
Yeah, I think there was a lot to learn from kind of watching this Kenyan collective community bootstrap, because a lot of people had no exposure to blockchain. And so whatever we can do to simplify that experience, I think is big. And
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited as well for Paideia, because you have more mature governance, and whether it's like a P2P collective or even if it's something like a local, group, you oftentimes need some form of government or governance or enforceability beyond just simple agreements, right? If we're going to create this idea of a truly autonomous DAO, there needs to be clear assumptions in terms of how power is delegated. Otherwise, you ultimately end up with a top-down system. And kind of the horizontal collaboration breaks. So I'm really excited to test that. I'm going to try to get on that later today, actually.
Right. So, well, blockchains also perfect for cooperation, right? So they're providing ideal environment for cooperation, and then there's definitely needed there to glue all the things together, and also to provide solutions where maybe other solutions not so efficient, right? So, even that example with gourds, not gourds with gourds, disproportionately going to the disproportional amount of gourds going to leader, right, in the gold oracle pool. Let's say. There are a lot of such issues in the cryptocurrency core protocols and also DeFi, so financial protocols. On top of the core protocols, where you can do some solutions done with algorithms and then markets, right? Taking decisions with information known, perfectly known about the algorithms to anyone, well, ideally. But it's not the most efficient, right, solution. So there is no perfect tool for everything. So markets are not always the most efficient tool, right? And there is no any perfect tool here. So then collective decision making can outperform just hard-coded logic and markets floating around it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, on one hand, we have this idea that code is law, but then, social law also kind of dictates what's used, right? So I think there's ultimately is some middle ground there.
It's not just as simple, right, as code is law and social law even, but in many cases markets are finding some optimum, but only local, right, and unable to get out of it. So then there is some way to get off of a local optimum to a global one, for example, and so on. But also, going back to the original question about the Ergo hack. I'm still thinking what to do for it. So I will be in judges probably this time, but also thinking to contribute something, without a price again. And you, any ideas you want to explore?
I'll probably be doing the same. I need to sit down and kind of refine a couple ideas that I have in mind. But everything that I submit, is not going to be for any reward. Just to try to encourage thought and growth in the ecosystem. And so I think I will be a judge this one as well. Which that's painful sometimes being a judge. It's hard to choose. You have competing projects that are on very different very different ideas, intents, and both can be equally as impactful long term, especially. So I'll do my best.
It's hard to find common ground often for very different projects.
Yeah. All right. You want to take one more question, or do you want to call it a day?
Let's take one more.
All right. This is for you. Will Ergo ever be developed enough that Kushti would be more interested in another project or layer 2 on Ergo? Is there a way that Ergo could be considered mostly complete?
Oh, I don't know. So the core protocol is pretty complete, I guess, right? So it's hard to discuss any breaking changes at this point, right? So still a lot of things can be done, but yeah, well, it's a never-ending right process. You can always improve something, and there are some non-breaking protocol upgrades we are talking about, and slowly planning. In regards with layer 2 and so on, so yeah, I'm spending some time on it, even right now. So I'm trying to get a variant of chain cache working on layer 2 with redemption happening on layer 1. I think, I already covered my efforts briefly a few times, but currently I'm doing writing and hope to post it on the forum. And then, if there will be some significant success in coming days, so then for the Ergo hack, maybe I will consider even doing research about doing mixing, for example, on layer 2, right, which would be quite awesome if possible, but still not clear. So layer 2 is always interesting, and it's to me not a different story, right, from layer 1 and layer 0. So you having a peer-to-peer network, so layer 0, which is consisting of peers, always exchanging transactions they are making. Then there is some ordering and time-stamping mechanism. Layer 1 with its consensus. Right, and as there are some limits there, so what you are trying to do, in order to increase TPS, it's quite strange that most of talks about increasing TPS are about layer 1 improvements, right? So, not improvements even, because proof of work is already very optimal consensus mechanism, time-stamping mechanism also, right? So it's totally asynchronous. You are not sending additional messages for consensus. So you are just announcing new blocks when found, and that's it. Still, it's limited, right? Naturally, if you are getting layer 0 over busy with layer 1, right? So what you are going to do is to offload, so to move some transactions to basically other networks which are using the same time-stamping, right? Sometimes. So, for example, you are opening and closing channels in Lightning network on layer 1 in well, Bitcoin. And actually in Ergo it would be the same in case of Lightning implementation. And then, you are using different network, right? Layer 2 network. So you are basically offloading layer 0 and also layer 1. But layer 1 is here mostly a derivative of layer 0. So it's just filtering invalid transactions and ordering them, timestamping, basically. So then layer 2 is not a different story, right? So as well as sidechains and so on. So it's still the continuation of the same topic. How can you process more?
Yeah, I guess you have to kind of reiterate P2P and then ordering and timestamping and some.
So we are talking about how to improve it also. Well, saving the peer-to-peer network. So having a flat peer-to-peer network with no Supernauts, with proper gossiping and so on. Because what's basically all the TPS bragging pseudo blockchains are doing. They're removing mempools, right? So gossiping. And introducing Supernauts. So in Solana, for example, there are no mempools, so transactions just sent from current validator to next one, if not included into a block, which is quite terrible design, and it was criticized back in 2013 even. When there were some naive so-called improvements proposed. But finally it's now implemented, and it's even marketed as some TPS improvement. So you can always improve TPS by going from a flat peer-to-peer network to some more efficient centralized solutions, right? But that's not what we are interested in.
Well, unfortunately, there's a lot of people that they're just interested in number go up, man. My friend, they don't really care too much about or principles of these systems.
Yeah, but even worse. So I mean, they're bragging about TPS going up, but what is this TPS used for in these pseudo blockchains? So mostly to mimic what's done in Ethereum before, right?
Yeah.
So pictures, NFTs, then. The same Uniswap DEXs, right? Uniswap like DEXs, stablecoin designs, copied and so on. Which is not bad, maybe, but why? So if there is Ethereum already there, and then some roll-ups and so on, so why is BNB or Solana needed? Hard to say.
Hard to say.
So, there is already a better solution, right? Which is Ethereum is about, and then also if you wanna to have more efficient centralized solution, there are roll-ups. So I don't know. Very weird story, but I mean, Ethereum is not without issues, right? But it was first this direction, and with pretty decentralized mining networking.
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately, killed as well.
Now it got eaten by the big players. That's who's validating the network now. What can you do?
All right. So,
I think we're pretty much good. I definitely enjoyed the conversation, Alex. It's always a pleasure to have you on.
yeah,
Thanks.
so let's finish at this point, and thank you, everyone. And next MA. Oh, so next MA will be on October 12th. So just one day before the hackathon, right?
Yeah, one day before the hackathon. So it'll be exciting to see. Those of you that are out there and curious and have ideas, feel free to hop onto the social channels and see if you can put together a team. That'd be awesome.
All right. See you there.
Have a good one, everybody.
Bye, everyone.